Hi guys, I'm Hannah, this is Felix, and today's practice is hips two ways. So we'll be doing 3 of the more common hip opening poses, but they'll be the same poses but in 2 different forms. So one from reclined on our backs and another from seated position. So it's going to be quite juicy for those hips. So when you're ready, grab your stretchy pants and I'll meet you on the mat. Mwah. All right, when you're ready, come all the way down onto the mat. Our favorite way to start any yoga practice. And we're gonna get straight into it today. So lift the knees into the chest. And then from here, either grab a hold of the outside edges of the feet, the inner arches of the feet. And if there's no way that you're reaching your feet today, you can just wrap the hands around the ankles or just the backs of the knees. So choose your weapon. And then everyone flex the feet a lot, so heels go up to the ceiling and toes come down towards your face. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, draw the knees down towards the armpits. Ooh. So you should be starting to feel this already, big hip opener through the inner thighs, the groin area, and maybe even wrapping all the way around into the glutes, the butt. Felix hair, again, inevitable. So stay here taking a few more breaths. Keep flexing the feet, keep drawing the knees down towards the armpits. And this pose, upside down, is called Happy Baby, but more or less we're sort of in a Malasana squat pose. So our back is nice and straight, our chest is open, and our knees are wide, and we're using our arms to open the legs. So the same sort of things are going on as we would find in our Malasana squat. Beautiful. Take one more big breath in here. And then exhale, gently release and plant the feet down, hip distance on the mat. Great. So that's number 1. Number 2, let's take the right foot up to the sky, flex the foot a lot here, and then bend the knee, cross the ankle over the left thigh. So right ankle crosses left thigh, and then we sweep our hands, one hand through the hole and the other hand to meet it, interlace the fingers at the back of the left knee. So now we're in a reclined pigeon. From here, make sure that both feet are just slightly turned on, switched on, flexed. Take a breath in again here, and then exhale as you draw the left knee in towards the chest. Nice. You'll probably already start to feel this right hip start to wake up, a little bit of movement action happening there. If you want some more, you can always press that right knee away from you. You can either use the elbow to do this or just use your strong leg muscles to move that knee away from you. So we've got opposing forces here. We're drawing the left knee in and at the same time drawing the right leg away. Both feet stay flexed. We take a couple of breaths in this position, reclined pigeon pose. Try to make sure that your shoulders and your face stay relaxed. I know it's hard because we're using our arms to really squeeze that knee in, but as much as you can, see if you can relax the upper body. Beautiful. One more big breath in here. And then exhale, unlace the fingers and unravel the legs. Nice. If you like, you can just take the knees from side to side a little if this is already intense on the hips. And then when you're done, come back to center. And this time, left leg goes high. Flex the foot just as a reminder. And then cross the left ankle over the right. Lift the right foot off the mat. Thread the arm through the hole that you've made. And then the other hand comes to meet it. Interlace behind the right knee this time. Big breath in, and then exhale to draw that right knee in towards the chest. Nice. Again, feet are happy. I talk about this a lot when we do hip opening, any sort of hip opening pose or practice. And that's because our hips are generally pretty sore. You might be understanding this concept right now during this practice. And our hips don't want to be sore. They're like, no, I'm not having any of that. So that the hips will send the pain, as it were, into our knee joint. And we really don't want any of this happening. So we flex the feet to start to fire up these muscles around our knees and therefore protect our knees from experiencing the stretch in the hip. So flexing the feet is like a rebellious act towards your hips. Be like, no, you deal with it. So that's why we do it. We keep squeezing the right knee in. And again, if you want more, press the left knee away from you. You can either, again, use the elbow, or if your elbow doesn't quite reach, just move that knee away using your mind power. Beautiful. On the exhale breath, try to relax the shoulders. Nice. We've probably stayed here long enough with me yapping. So when you're ready, release the legs, the hands. Nice. And again, if you like, you can just gently take the knees from side to side. Cool. All right, that's 2 down. We've got 1 more to go, upside down. This one's a biggie. So it's similar to the one we just did, reclined pigeon, but this is reclined Gomukhasana. So lift both legs up, and then let's cross the right knee over the left knee. So we want to cross the legs like we're sitting in a chair. For some of you, the knees may not cross and you'll be somewhere here, ankle over knee or thigh or whatever. And this is totally fine. This just means that your hips are not so open, and the more you practice yoga, the more open they'll become. So our knees are crossed more or less like we're sitting in some office chair. And then we want to reach up to grab the outside edges of the feet. Again, if you can't reach the feet, you can grab just the legs or the ankles or whatever you've got a hold of. Nice. Cool. So we've got a hold of our legs, our knees are crossed. Then what we want to do is lift our feet up towards the ceiling so that we're in this sort of X shape with the legs. And then at the same time, we want to draw the feet down using our arms. As you can see, I didn't actually press my feet down because my feet are still pushing up. So we find these opposing motions. Feet press up as the arms press down. And doing that is where you'll find this stretch in reclined Gomukhasana or reclined cow face legs. Nice. So this one can be really intense. So you bring the stretch here. The more lift up and more push down that you bring, the more you'll start to feel this one in the hips. And if it's really intense, you can just hang out here. I don't know if you're doing it. No one in the room knows you're doing it. So you can just sit and breathe. And again, same thing. Our legs and arms are doing some work, but see how much you can relax the upper body, maybe even close the eyes to remind the face to just soften. Nice. 1 more breath in here. And then exhale, gently unravel the legs, and we'll cross right over to the other side. So left knee over the right knee. Either grab the outsides of the feet or whatever you've got. And again, if you're here, this is totally fine. You're still going to feel a really intense hip opening stretch. It's just that your knees don't quite do the same thing mine are doing, and that's all good. Beautiful. So same thing here. Lift the feet up, press the feet up to the ceiling. At the same time, pull the feet down using the hands. And for this round, if it feels good for you, you can close down the eyes. And try to find softness through the face and the belly, even the shoulders. Trying to find this softness, this calm, while there's some crazy stuff going on with the lower half of our body. Beautiful. Let's take 1 more big breath in here. And exhale, unravel the legs. You can hug the knees in. That might feel nice for you. Take a little movement from side to side. Great. And then from here, we'll make our way up to a comfortable seat. You can rock and roll. Today, I'm just going to roll to one side and bring myself up. Great. So, time to do these same poses, but from the floor. So when you're ready, take the feet about hip distance apart, heels facing in and toes pointing out. We've done this one before in the videos. So if your heels are lifted, this is also totally normal, totally fine. Same thing if your heels are on the mat. Different bodies, different poses are gonna look, and they're never gonna look the same. But we want our toes out to the sides and our heels either up or down. Great, knees are wide. Press the elbows into the knees to bring the hands together at the heart. Nice. So from here, lift the spine, grow really tall, and now we're in Malasana. So this one is sort of different to happy baby pose that we did before, but you can still see that this very similar sort of shapes that we're creating. So our feet are really flexed, whether their heels are lifted or the heels are down, and our knees are wide, and we're feeling this stretch through the inner thighs, the inner part of our hip. Nice. Grow a little bit taller. And then exhale, release the hands down, and we'll come onto all fours. Cool. Sorry, my hair's doing some wacky stuff. Let's just try and put that away. From here, we'll move into pigeon pose. So before we did recline pigeon. So these two poses do look very different, but they target the same area of the hip. So we'll come into pigeon from all fours. So take your hands onto the mat, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then kick the right leg out long, and then bring the knee all the way up in between the hands. Beautiful. Knee goes to one side of the mat, foot goes to the other. Slide the left leg back. Beautiful. All right, from here, we want to make it so that both our hip points are facing forward. So press into the fingertips and feel that your hips are in line. And sometimes what I see is a lot of people will lean way over to the bent knee side of their hip. And as you can see, if I do that, my hip bones, one's going this way and one's going the other way. So if you're feeling that this is happening for you, come back to center, and if that means your hip lifts really high up, it's not a problem. If you've got something nearby that you can pop underneath your butt, maybe a cushion or a blanket, go ahead and grab that. So I'll give you a minute to get that set up. You can pause the video, and then from here, take your right toes and really click them into the mat. On this side, you won't be able to see this so well, but just feel like your little toes all press into the very top of the mat here. And then press into the fingertips. Inhale, lift, puff your chest up like a pigeon, which is obviously where the name of this pose came from. And then as you exhale, start to drape the front body over the front leg and come down to wherever feels comfortable for you. So you can either have the forearms down, the forehead down, or maybe you're up here on the forearms and lifted. Everyone's going to be really different. So find the best version of this pose. And of course, breathe. Again, we flex these toes to protect our knee joint. And I'm sure for a lot of us, our hips are like, whoo, this crazy. And it is a little bit crazy, but try to see if you can let your breath relax into this pose just a little more. Try to release the tension in that right hip. Beautiful. Gently walk the fingertips back up to meet the body. Press into the hands, tuck the back toes, and we'll come back onto all fours. Nice. Good work, guys. This hair. I washed it, so it's all soft and fluffy. Okay, we're back onto all fours again. This time, let's kick the left leg out and then squeeze the knee in. The knee goes to one side of the mat, the foot goes to the other. Slide that right leg back this time. Beautiful. So same thing on this side. Try to line the hip points up so they face forward in line with the front edge of your yoga mat. And then here you'll see that we really want to click those toes into the mat. So from the top of the knee to the edge of the foot, we've got this one diagonal line rather than this. This is something that we do see a lot. It's not super, super bad, but there's a lot of dorsiflexion happening in that foot. So just diagonal line, click in those toes. And this is enough to protect that knee joint. Again, press into the fingertips, lift, lift, lift the chest, puff it up, and then exhale to drape the body forward, start to walk the fingertips down. You come to your level, so maybe that's here, or maybe you can bring the forehead down to the mat. And again, we find breath, and we use that breath to release any tension in the hip. And then while we're down here, notice if there's tension holding anywhere else. Obviously the hip is like, whoo, crazy stuff. But maybe your shoulders are holding some tension, maybe your jaw or your face. So try to use your exhale breath to release any tension across the whole body. Beautiful. Start to walk the fingertips back up. Nice. And then press into the hands, tuck the back toes, and we'll come back onto all fours. Nice job. Cool. All right. Last one. Gomukhasana. Again, this time we'll lift the right foot up to the sky. So we have this kind of tiger tail, and then bring the knee in towards the center. Kick it over to the side. So same thing as pigeon, but then this time we're going to slide the back knee forward so that our knees are stacked, and then sit back down on the butt. I'm going to face forward so that you can see what this is looking like. Cool. So Gomukhasana, or cow face pose. Generally, we want the knees one stacked on top of each other and the feet more or less in line. Most people aren't going to look like this. If you're up here and all sorts of crazy things are happening, this is totally normal, totally fine. So everyone just find your place. Oh, hey, you want to do cow face pose with me? Can you come here? Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. So we're in cow face pose. Sit, please. Thank you. Let's take the fingertips to the sides. Okay, bye Felix. Bye Felicia. And then inhale, lift the chest, close down the eyes, and exhale as you soften that whole front body, the face and the belly. Start to breathe into the belly. It's a big old pose, this one. If your knees are stacked and there's no space in between them, you're welcome to walk the fingertips forward and start to fold over the legs, but don't feel like this is where you have to go. So if you're up here and this is crazy, or even you could be leaning back and be like, oh lordy, this crazy. So just choose your level. Nice. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, take all the lines out of the face. Nice, and then open the eyes. All right, we're gonna go to the other side in my most favorite way ever. So trust that this is gonna work. Bring the fingertips forward, and then start to lift up off the feet and go around. Doesn't matter which direction you chose, keep going, don't give up. And then kaplunk, back down. Magical. So if you did that and you didn't give up and you trusted the process, you will find that now your left leg is on top of your right knee. Beautiful. And you're in Gomukhasana on the other side. So give yourself a little shuffle, set everything up. Make sure that your butt bones are sitting down on the mat. And the feet, again, more or less in line with each other. I like to grab a hold of my feet here because it really messes with my brain, because they're obviously on opposite sides, and I don't know, it's just crazy for me. So you can either do this or bring the fingertips to the sides. If this side is really intense, again, lean back. If your knees are stacked and you've got a little more, feel free to fold forward, but try not to let the butt lift off of the mat too much. So everyone choose your version. And then when you're ready, close down the eyes and just breathe, using that breath to soften the face and the belly. I wonder if our visitor is going to come back. I can hear that he's tapping around the place. Oh, he's found a toy. I wonder if the video is going to pick that up. That's going to be great. Gently open the eyes. And then if you folded forward, start to come up. And then everyone lean way back. Unravel the legs. Felix, come here, buddy. Take the feet hip distance apart. And then again, let's windscreen wiper the knees from side to side. Just releasing gently through the hips. Should feel like a nice massage. Extra sound effects of Felix playing in the living room. Cross the ankles and come to sit up in a comfortable seat. Beautiful. Bring the hands together at the heart. And inhale, sit up tall. Exhale to bow the chin to the chest as a gesture of gratitude for your practice today, your incredible body, and for anything else you feel really grateful for. Lift the chin and open the eyes. Thank you guys so much for practicing with me today. I hope your hips feel nice and juicy, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.